Hello everyone and welcome on De Papier et de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you some flowers with hot press paper. In my last video I was telling that I was quite eager to try this hot press paper with flowers because of the clarity and the purity of the color you can get on hot press paper and the smoothness also. So today I'm trying that, flowers on hot press paper, and I'm painting some flowers of rhododendron. And I'm starting this painting by a very quick sketch on my paper, and for that I'm not using a regular graphite pencil. I'm just using a regular color pencil in a gray-green tone. It's an experimentation here, but as I'm not erasing any trace of my pencils, I was thinking that I could use a color pencil with the color in adequation with my painting, so that it will merge easily in the rest of the colors. It's been 2 or 3 paintings I'm doing this trick with a color pencil, and for now I'm quite happy with it. I will see in the future if I still like it, but it really helps with unity. And once my drawing is done, I can put the first layer of colors, and I'm really careful to not put too much color at this point. I'm just placing the area of color where I want, and I know that I will be able to come back again and add some color after, but I'm just focusing on painting around my flowers because it's a negative painting, it's a bit tricky, and I want to be very focused on that at this point. And if the color is not strong enough, I still can go back at any time. My composition could look a bit funny for now, a bit weird, because my focus point is very low on the page, and there will be a lot of just plain paper on top of it. But as my flowers are my focus point and there will be a lot of details in them, I just want the rest of the page to be a bit light in details and soft in order to balance the flowers. And I'm very careful to put the strongest color around my flowers because they are almost white, a little bit pink but almost white, and to make them look a bit whiter, I have to put strong color against this white light area, so that by contrast it will appear really brighter. And I'm also playing with strong edge and soft edges in this part of my painting. Some petals of the flower will be very defined with very strong edges, but I want other part of my flower to be very soft and blending with the background, so I blur the color around it in order to make it really soft. And before letting this first layer dry, I'm adding a little bit of colors in my flowers, a little bit of pink, but I'm very light here. It's just a hint for later, because I will come back sometimes with layers and layers of color, but I just want to take my time with the flowers and build the color step by step. Because it's always easy to add color but very hard to remove. And it's even harder on hot press paper because it's a very fragile paper, and you cannot scrub or put too many layers on it. It will tear the paper off. So now I'm starting with the second layer. And I'm starting to put some shadows in the flowers because it's almost that the flower is defined more by the shadow than by its color itself. It's quite funny. It's a very white, pink-white flower, and the sun is hitting it quite hard, so it's even lighter. So you can see the shape of the flower inside just by the shadows. And with the color of the shadows, I'm experimenting a little bit because I'm using a mix of lavender and yellow ochre in order to have a shadow with a violet tint, but still a little bit dull. But it wasn't really working for me, and during my painting I was moving on and trying another mix with Cerulean blue and Rose Madder Lake. It's a bit more effective in the color. It's a little less dull, of course, and I can manage to put a little bit more blue so that the shadow is more realistic in a way. But I'm not using this mix totally straight. I'm always putting a little bit of yellow in it so that it's not totally bright and but a little bit dull. Even if it's not the first layer anymore, I'm still using a really big brush. It helps me to stay loose in my painting and not putting too much details, and as it's a flat brush I can still have a very fine line if I want, and it's a very soft brush. Even if it's a synthetic one, it's very soft, and I think it's a perfect brush for working with hot press paper because it doesn't hold too much water, and it can just blend the color very softly. I'm quite amazed by the capacity of this brush and this paper together. It's a really nice combination. And the painting is starting to look quite nice. Of course there is lots of detail missing, but I will put them in another layer and let this one dry. And let's talk about supplies. For the brushes I've used an Escoda Último 1 inch, a flat brush, and a Raphaël Petit Gris 803 No. 2, a round brush. For the color I've used Cerulean blue, Indanthrene blue, yellow ochre, Quinacridone gold, Rose Madder Lake, Lavender, and a tiny bit of nickel azo yellow. And my paper is Canson Héritage in hot press. And now I'm starting the last layer of my painting, and there will be a lot of detail in it, so that I change my brush in order to have more control on what I'm doing with it. And it's quite a small brush for this big sheet of paper, but it's perfect for the detail I'm about to paint. In my supplies list I've mentioned that I'm using a tiny little bit of nickel azo yellow. I've used it just in the heart of the flower to make it a little bit brighter. And I'm not using Quinacridone gold because Quinacridone gold is a bit, tiny bit dull when it dries. And this nickel azo yellow is so bright, and it's a perfect color for the center of a flower. So in this last layer I will focus my work on defining some area, as I'm doing right now with the shape of the petals. I'm making the edge a little bit stronger so that it's looking a little bit more natural. And I'm still darkening the foliage area so that the flower pop a little bit more by contrast. And I will also paint in this last layer all the little tiny details that will make you think about flowers so the pistil, the tiny part where the pollen is. I will add also texture to the petals so that they are a little bit more natural looking, and I will deepen also the shadows and the color of the petal to make everything look a little bit more realistic. And when I say realistic, it's so that you will understand the painting, but it's not realistic as in photorealism. It's just I'm working to give you the right hints so that you can tell the flower, and if I'm doing this right, you will be able to tell what type of flower it is, but I'm not focusing at all on photorealism. So when I'm adding the texture on the petals, I'm focusing on shadows and right color of the petals, so I'm using pinks and violets almost together to get the right color in the right area, but I'm also playing with soft edges and hard edges, so that some parts of the shadows or petal are very strong and very defined, and some other parts are a little bit more mysterious and loose. It was a very fun painting to make for me, and I almost forget about everything around me when I was painting it, and often it's quite a good sign when this happens, and I'm very happy with the result. It's not perfect, but I like the color, I like the softness, and I think it's a very interesting painting. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about it, and for some photos of my painting with zoom and everything. You will find everything on the blog. And please tell me what you think in the comments. See you soon.